I recently watched the 2014 neo-noir film Nightcrawler. The trailer is what initially drew me to it, with a slick visual style and a mesmerising performance by its star Jake Gyllenhaal as the seedy and sociopathic character Lou. Directed by debutant Dan Gilroy, who previously had writing credits on Free Jack and The Bourne Legacy, Nightcrawler is a dark and sometimes brutal examination of vulture capitalism and the thin line between reporting the news and making it. After a chance encounter with a freelance videographer played by Bill Paxton, Gyllenhaal's Lou decides to embark on a career as a news cameraman. Using an old police scanner and camera, Lou waits for newsworthy incidents to be reported over police frequencies, rushing to various car crashes and gruesome crime scenes in order to capture footage which he can then sell on to a local news channel manager played by Rennie Russo. She is desperate to help boost her fading career, and so turns a blind eye when it appears that Lou is doing more than simply filming events. Lou shows complete disregard for human life as he stops at nothing to expand his now thriving video news production company, which in turn eventually places him in the middle of a murder investigation. Nightcrawler is in every way a noir film. It's bleak, it's cold, and it's as empty as the darkened streets Lou cruises around. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. The first half of the film builds an effective atmosphere, and most importantly, I was completely enthralled with Gyllenhaal's portrayal of Lou. There is no doubt that it is one of the most unnerving performances I've seen in a long time. In fact, in some ways, Gyllenhaal's performance actually outdoes the film itself. There's an almost Hyde-esque element or transformation going on here with Gyllenhaal's performance through the deliberate weight loss, which makes his character appear more gaunt and drawn, to the subtle makeup and hair combination to heighten his sallow look. Lou is a man who appears ill and feels sleazy and rotten to the core at every level. Gyllenhaal's performance should draw comparisons with Christian Bale's Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. Both characters exhibit psychopathic tendencies, and they are both examples of what happens when someone who is twisted and lacks any empathy enters into the business world. Every smile and every laugh is fake. Every positive human interaction is contrived. And Gyllenhaal feels almost like an alien in this movie. He feels so far removed from humanity. It's not even like a character, like a cartoon character in some ways, like Hannibal Lecter, who is the epitome of evil and sadistic thoughts and behaviours. What makes Gyllenhaal's performance even more unpalatable is that there's almost a sort of uncanny valley effect going on, where we recognise it as human, but we feel like it's not somehow. There is a lack of humanity there. I'll take any opportunity I can to talk about the original Night Stalker film, and while watching Nightcrawler I kept being reminded of Night Stalker, a news reporter driving around through the neon lit streets at night trying to find the next big scoop. The difference is that in Night Stalker our hero is morally pure, whereas in Nightcrawler Lou, our news cameraman, is anything but. The film is a compelling watch, there's no doubt about that, as we wonder just how far Lou will actually go to meet his own goals. But I have to say that as the film progressed, once it was set up, once we knew who Lou was, once we sort of knew what he wanted and we got used to him, we almost have a sense of comfort being around him at this point. It's around about halfway through the film, and it started dragging for me slightly. It started becoming less compelling. But thankfully what happens is it ramps up for the end of the film, and we do actually get a really enthralling conclusion and finale that's actually even pretty action-packed by some action film standards as well. While the film does explore self-censorship, and it even does take a look at media, it doesn't do that as much as you would really think. Again, it feels like the film at its core is really a commentary on vulture capitalism more than anything else. And I think that's highlighted by the start of the film, where Lou is searching for any career. He doesn't really care what he's doing. He just wants a career. He wants to throw himself into something, and no matter what he'd thrown himself into, he would have got up to terrible, terrible things. If he'd been involved in working at a pet shop, God knows what would have went on. But it didn't really matter that he was a cameraman, and that sort of surprised me, because looking at the trailer, I really thought it was going to be an exploration of news reporting, media, and how that's experienced and how it's constructed by people within the industry. Yes, there is some of that going on, and yes, it does also explore the negative aspects of having a 24-hour news station where you always have to have compelling stories, and that maybe that would encourage some people to make those stories up or to embellish events. But I still think at its core it is about capitalism. It is about how people who own businesses, if they don't have a social conscience, they can brutally take advantage of people. We see it as well when he hires his assistant. Lou hires his assistant, Rizwan Ahmed, and we even get to see that the whole process sometimes of vulture capitalism becomes almost addictive, and it's not something which in the film is specific to any class or anything like that, because we even see Lou's assistant get the bug, and he wants more money and he wants to get more for what he's doing, although he does have in the end more of a conscience than Lou. This is Dan Gilroy's directorial debut, and it's one which is of a very high standard. I do have some complaints for the film. I do think that it's not compelling throughout. I think it lags slightly in the middle, as I said before, but if you can get past that, it's an enthralling watch for most of the time, and it has one of the best performances that I've seen in a long time in Jake Gyllenhaal, but everyone is on top of their game. It was great to see Bill Paxton in another movie. I was watching True Lies the other night, and you realise just how good he is when he's on top of his game. He's also a very good director. If you have a chance, I would highly recommend this film Frailty, which slipped under the radar, but it's an excellent thriller. Rennie Russo does a great job as well as a news editor on her way out, really, and she'll do anything to try and stay on top. What's interesting about her is that she does have a moral line, but as the film progresses, she pushes it and pushes it and pushes it until the line disappears. Rizwan Ahmed as well is excellent as Lou's assistant in the film, and gives us possibly one of our only real human performances, or humane performances in the film, where we kind of root for him, but in the end we also see him flirting with that world where money becomes more important in some ways than morals. So anyway, that's Nightcrawler. I definitely recommend watching it. It's a very good film, and I will go back to it. I may like it even more the second time I watch it. And a very good debut from Dan Gilroy, so I can't wait to see what he does next. Please do subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more about my ramblings on various films and TV shows. You can subscribe to Horror of Mike. You can also subscribe to Ghastly Tales, which is my horror channel that I make loads of films and narrations and things like that, alongside a bunch of other talented guys who also make films and narrations and just a whole bunch of horror content. So please do check that out as well. Check out the Facebook page down below, and I'll be back soon with another review. Please do let me know what you thought of Nightcrawler in the comments below, and I will answer each comment. Thanks for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Gyllenhaal as the seedy and sociopathic character Lou. Directed by debutant Dan Gilroy, who previously had writing credits on Free Jack and The Bourne Legacy, Nightcrawler is a dark and sometimes brutal examination of vulture capitalism and the thin line between various car crashes and gruesome crime scenes in order to capture footage which he can then sell on to a local news channel manager played by Rennie Russo. She is desperate to help boost her fading career, and so turns a blind eye when it appears that Lou is doing more than simply filming events.
Brains. Brains. Num 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 num.
I recently watched the 2014 neo-noir film Nightcrawler. The trailer is what initially drew me to it, with a slick visual style and a mesmerising performance by its star Jake Gyllenhaal. Lou shows complete disregard for human life as he stops at nothing to expand his now thriving video news production company, which in turn eventually places him in the middle of a murder investigation. Nightcrawler is in every way a noir film. It's bleak, it's cold, and it's as empty as the dark, reporting the news and making it. After a chance encounter with a freelance videographer played by Bill Paxton, Gyllenhaal's Lou decides to embark on a career as a news cameraman. Using an old police scanner and camera, Lou waits for newsworthy incidents to be reported over police frequencies, rushing to